Are you in Melbourne?
Well, no, the band's I'm in the Gold Coast, but the band's Sydney band. So I moved up here 9 years ago, but the band's I'm Sydney born and bred as the rest of the guys. So they're all down there, but I get slightly warmer. But we're right in the depth and throes of winter. It's the 2 weeks of winter that we have up here. So it's, it's been cold. I had 4.7 degrees yesterday morning at like 6 o'clock,
No.
which is really cold. It's like, yeah, anything under 20 for us is cold, but
I do remember one of the first things I ever heard about the Gold Coast. This is, well, maybe 15, 20 years ago, because I was up there and a friend said to me, it was during winter, and they went, you can always tell who the tourists are because they're the ones at the beach. The locals are like, nope, it's too cold.
yeah. Oh, here we are.
Good,
Mr.
g'day,
Kardashian.
g'day. Hello.
Hey,
How
Michael,
is
how are
everyone?
we?
Good. Oh, I've just had a I set up a camera, but it's using the other camera. Sorry. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
Yeah,
can you hear us?
it looks
Yeah,
like you're
I
just
can hear.
you're doing your own podcast while you're doing the Zoom. Is that what's happening, or you're running a
No,
TikTok live?
no, because
Are
I
you
never
interviewing
use
us,
Zoom. I
Michael?
never have any. What's that?
Are you interviewing us? Yeah, is that what's happening? You interviewing Simon and I?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It looks like it.
All right, fellas, tell me about the latest album. Here we go.
It's one of my questions. Fuck. Right. Well, let's crack on, actually. Thank you very much for taking the time out. Obviously, this is primarily for Necrosonic. I mean, it shows in the background for two of us. The But obviously you've got your own stuff that you're doing as well after the Necrosonic Festival. I am going to start with probably the most obvious question: is after 14 years, why now?
Well, 14 years, it's longer for me actually. So the last time I front the last time I officially fronted Daysend was 2006. So we're talking almost 20 years since I was in front of the band. There were a couple of cameos I think I remember doing Kodrek. I think when Mark took I like well, for history's sake, I left in '06 and then Mark took up the reins and continued on. And a couple of times in Sydney, I showed up at a couple of shows just to support, and a couple of times they did get me up on stage to do one of my songs, a duet, if you were, with Mark, and that was 2008. But yeah, so for me, it's actually been nearly 20 years. But it's more around. I guess a few of the guys like Michael had been playing in another band that he had back in the day. We've got Jason and Aaron both doing their stuff with Mortality at the moment. I'd been writing some stuff with my prior band, Red Sands, which was the band I was in before Daysend. So it all seemed like I think a number of us have gotten older. People have gone through the having babies and all that sort of stuff, and then I think kids are of an age where dads can get back out and do the business. So that was sort of all happening. We've discussed it over the years, but for me personally, and that was my only album with Daysend, and I moved on, and it was our debut album, and one that I guess I get quite a lot of commentary over the years, still to this day, whether that be online or just bumping into someone at a pub or something. So it was sort of something that I left and didn't really do a last hurrah. So for me personally, it was more like, let's give this one album another run just for a handful of shows, and we'll see what happens after that. So that's sort of the long story, the long version, not the short version that went around. But yeah, it was that was it. I mean, what about for yourself, Mick? Was it?
Okay, for me, there was a specific point because yeah, over the years, people have been talking about it. Everyone says, "Hey, let's do it again," and someone says, "Yeah, yeah, yeah," and then it doesn't happen, and someone else says, "Yeah, yeah, yeah," and that doesn't happen, and this goes on for decades, right? And then, um, at the end of last year, we got hit up by a friend of us, just as you do these days through Facebook, and this guy started putting me under the pump. He says, "Michael, you got to bloody do this Days End thing again." And what I didn't know at the time was under separate cover, he was putting these other guys under the pump too. Like he was hitting up Simon and everyone else. So he was working behind the scenes like this maestro, right? And then, but the key thing with that was because he was hitting us all at the same time. So we're all in that state of mind at the same time. So that's what we all kind of got together, and that's kind of what finally got the thing over the line, rather than just there being two of us saying, yeah, let's do it, and then we don't talk about it. It was like everyone is now talking about it at the same time, and that was that final kind of push that we needed.
I think
Yeah.
add to it, Mick. I think plug back to Keno and Necro. I think for me, I mean, we've talked about it for years, and you and I have talked about it. We've talked about it with Wayne and Meredith, and there's been times here and there where there was potential, never got to it. But Necrosonic last year, when I went as a punter and was backstage for Mortality, that sort of especially seeing Aaron back on stage and seeing he's still got the chops, and and even seeing Jason up there, and a couple of times Aaron in between songs on sound check played a couple of licks off Severance and got my blood pumping. I think that was sort of a little inkling between myself and Aaron to sort of
Prick teasing.
yeah, a bit of a prick teaser thing. We could probably do that, and then fast forward, and then with other people asking us and promoters asking if we do it, and to Mick and myself, and I thought, well, and I guess the missing piece was always Wayne and Meredith, and so the original lineup is Michael, myself, Aaron, Wayne, and Meredith, and we wanted it to be 100% OG. Obviously, the band that wrote that album and toured that album, and when it was when Daysend sort of broke out in Australia and across America, etc. And we're all very close mates. So, but we approached them, and it's just something that they can't do. Not for any other reason that they've got too many obligations in life right now that just don't allow them to even consider doing any rehearsals or shows. And so it wasn't something. It's not that they're being replaced, but rather the other two guys that have come on board are keeping their seat warm. And we were still very good mates. It would have been great. But then if we fast forward and we thought, well, it's myself, Michael, and Aaron at least, and Jason is obviously Daysend. After I left, he joined when Michael left for a while as Rhythm. So at least the front line is all Daysend members, and then we get Matt on board on drums, who used to play in Switchblade, and we've known him for so long, and really good bloke, and he hadn't picked up drumsticks for like 10 years, and he was like, nah, man, I don't know if I can do it, but like he's just charged, isn't he, Mick? He's just
He's killing it.
he's killing it, absolutely killing it.
He's
So
awesome.
yeah, so that all came together. So we just thought, and we got their blessing, Wayne and Meredith, and said, well, if we don't do it now, I mean, I just thought if I don't do it now, I don't see myself doing it in 10 years from now. I'm not getting any younger, and I wouldn't mind having at least a run of shows. So here we are.
You actually kind of answered one of my next questions, which was about Meredith and Wayne. So thanks very much for that. So, and actually, you've answered one of the other ones as well, which was Matthew on the drums, being relatively new, and Jason. So Jason's now on bass, is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So he just basically
it-
said, he just said, look, I'll just buy a bass. I'll just buy a bass rig and I'll just learn bass. He said, fuck it. He goes, for him, and these are his words, I'll probably obviously paraphrase him, but he said the album for him was one of the main reasons for him to become a guitarist, back in the day, and he knows it quite well, and he just really thought it was a great opportunity to fill in that space for Meredith. And like I said, we've all got massive respect for Wayne and Meredith, and and I think it's a great thing to have him there because he has that respect because he knows them so well as not just as bandmates but as really good friends and family.
You guys, this must be, I would imagine this is probably on record. This might be a world record of the longest Aussie tour ever. Because it starts at the end of August and it finishes in February. Like, what the fuck's that about?
Yeah, well, it was like it's one of those things that we've all got day jobs. We're not doing this to make money. We have. I mean, I don't, but a lot of the guys in the band have very young kids, and it's very difficult to just take 2 or 3 weeks out and just smash out a heap of dates. And we just thought, well, we don't care. Like, who cares? It's for us. It might actually add more weight to the tour if people are like, well, I missed you in Sydney because for whatever reason I was away in Bali for 2 weeks. But hey, next month you're playing in Melbourne. I might as well go down and see you in Melbourne. So it was just more to test the waters with this particular one, which is all just songs from the Severance album. There's no other songs outside of that. And that's the main, I guess, the impetus for this tour, so to speak. But it's just like we couldn't really commit to taking time off work and having some wives very upset with a lot of little kids running around for 2 or 3 weeks. So we thought just doing one a month over the next few months would be a good thing to do.
You can answer one of my next questions as well.
I'll
A
stop
whole
talking,
list
man.
of-
I apologise. I apologise. I apologise.
No, it's good. It
Are
makes, it
you
makes
are
my
you
job
reading?
look
Are
easy.
you reading his sheets, Simon? You're reading his
Yeah,
notes.
yeah.
Yeah, there you got him. There you go.
Yeah.
I faxed them through, beforehand. Yeah, off
Yeah,
you go.
facts. Okay, I'm not that old. Come on.
Yeah, because the question I was going to ask was, so when this first got announced about you guys coming back and doing Necrosonic and doing your own shows, there was quite a buzz about it, certainly within in the scene. But the understanding was is that there was going to be some of the song. It was going to be Severance as a collective, but then there may be some of the songs from other spots. So, are you guys unequivocally saying you're not going to like slip in something from another album or two? I'm holding you to this.
uh, yeah. Well, yeah. Well, at this stage, yes, because it is a Severance tour, right? So, I think that's the what we're doing for this lot of shows. But who knows what might happen? We might change things up. Who knows? But it would definitely the main idea is that we're playing all songs off Severance, right? Because it is a Severance revisited tour. If there's continuation of the band continues in whatever format after this bunch of shows, and then obviously that could very well change. We have, don't quote me on this, but there has been writing a new song. So, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't have said that out loud. But so
Recorded.
there's, so we have been working on one other song, whether we play that in this run of shows or we look to release it or something. So it's all up in the air. There's no real definitive answer. Our main position is that we really wanted to play the songs of Severance one last go, give, I guess, the fans that grew up on that album and know it, and many people I know that are quite younger than me grew up on it, but they were too young to go to gigs back then, and they're all pumping up the tickets. They're so excited to actually see it be performed because they never got to see us live back in the day, which is pretty cool as well.
I'm not taking a piss. He literally did just ask another one of my questions, which was, "What's the future hold after this?" Like, fuck, man. So
Gordon,
anyway,
Michael, you answer this question. I've been talking too much.
No. You're pretty much on the ball there. Yeah. Like I guess because the purpose of this tour, there's multiple purposes. I mean, the main one is, as Simon was saying, that particular album, it resonated, at the time, and people got into it, and people still contact us to this day to talk about it and all this sort of thing. So we thought, well, we're all still here. We're all, and a lot of us are still playing, like in the last year or two, we were playing in bands and things, and still are. The other two guys, Aaron and Jason, are still playing in another band, Mortality. So we thought, let's just give all these people that keep talking to us about this album, let's play it for them. Let's give them a bit of a thrill. But so that's one purpose. But then the other purpose for us is like, well, we're still here. We're still keen to play. We're still all musos. So let's give it a go. Let's see how we all kind of get along, how we all gel, and how the whole music thing fits into everyone's lives with all their kids running around and the wives on the back and all that kind of thing. And if it works, then cool. Like maybe there'll be something after it. So but certainly from my perspective, I'll look forward to that. I think Simon's in the same boat too. So yeah, we just got to um, see how it goes. Yeah.
Do you guys feel there's a little bit of then unfinished business in regards to this album?
I mean, for me personally, yes. Only because I left for personal reasons, nothing to do with the guys in the band, but I had some family commitments I needed to set right and couldn't commit to the next album. But I left. So it was like, here's this album that was, quite, was got quite a lot of notoriety when we released it in 03, and we toured America with it. We get back from America and it's still, very well known. And I didn't even get this chance to say this is my last show with the band. So for me, yeah, definitely was something I just thought I wouldn't mind giving it one last hit up. So yeah, and then it evolved. So it was always something that I wanted to do. So personally, yes, and I think like everything that Michael said, it is something that it was one of those albums. It was their debut, but it just took off. It was, I think, a little bit different for Australian metal at the time. It was just fortuitous how it came about, and yeah, so it's just something that, and the other albums are also great, but it was obviously evolved into something different. But I think that it's like that the first kiss. You always remember the first kiss one, because it was your first one, right? So even though the next one might be better or different, but you still remember that one. So I think that resonates with a lot of fans.
Yeah. Do you think, Michael?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think back to my first kiss with Simon. No, nah, nah, that was forgettable. But yeah.
How would you know? Your eyes were closed, mate.
Sorry, I
Sam.
didn't mean to offend you, Simon. Uh,
Nothing
I,
offends me, mate.
I'm glad at least you remembered it. But
It's
um,
the
y-
So you want to say anything, Michael?
no, go on. What were we saying?
Right. So I mean, obviously this. I mean, I know you guys have obviously got the rest of the tour, but this is primarily for what's on the screen above the Necrosonic Festival. So one of the things that I know Anna wants to do with this is with the videos, like she's going to cut them up and use them as like reels and things like that. And one of the key things that she's looking for is for you guys to basically sit there for maybe say 30 seconds, 45 seconds and go, this is the reason why we should be going to Necrosonic Festival. We should be watching your band, buy that sort of thing. So yeah, take it away, guys.
Oh, that's easy for me. I mean, Necrosonic last year was the first time I've been. It was an amazing, festival. Then I think with Keno bringing back this type of festival, it's really growing. The fact that he's bringing back, I don't know how many bands there. Is it 6 bands that haven't played in over a decade or more? Is just amazing. I mean, obviously it's our first show. Back for me, for 19 years, and what was it, 14 years for Daysend. So, we've been resurrected back from the dead, but there are a lot of great bands, all like half the bill. I think we know, like as mates that we've either toured with over the years or respected. I'm really excited seeing fellow bandmates grace the stage. I mean, their EP is still gets radio play in my car constantly on repeat, and I just see they're dropping a new song, which is pretty cool. And a shout back to the half the band Henry's Angler's boys and the personality test. So for those that know, they know. But there's just so many of the mates on the bill and great Australian metal icons, right, and international acts. So I mean, it's a great venue too. Like you've got the way it's set up, where your main stage and your side stage and another stage over there. So it's pretty easy to get from one to the other, not like the massive festivals where it takes you half an hour to get from one stage to the other. Um, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And even if I wasn't playing, I'd definitely be going, because it's just like you just catch up with so many friends from across the country that you might only get to see at a gig once or twice a year. It's just great community of people enjoying great music.
Oh,
Yep.
Yeah,
And
so good.
look, truth be told, I have not been to a Necrosonic before, so apologies, Kent. So, but I've heard lots about it, obviously, from guys like Simon and everyone else. And yeah, everything I've heard about it is super positive, and they have an awesome selection of bands. Personally, at heart, I'm a death metal kind of guy, so the fact they got a Bramelin playing is something I'm very happy about. I've been a massive fan of them since the '90s, and yeah, I can't get enough of them. So they're the band that I'll be going for the most. But yeah, as Simon was saying, plenty of other bands that we've known for years, and yeah, we're just happy that they're. I guess everyone's being resurrected together. It's like some sort of religious event or something, you know. We're all rising from the dead, like wannabe Jesus Christ or something.
Yeah. Hopefully we don't all look too dead when we get up on stage, but yeah.
it's a big one. All right. Well, I'll see you guys up there. I will. I'm going as well, so I'll see you on that day. Is there anything else you just want to add before I let you go and enjoy the rest of your evening?
No, looking forward to the festival. I hope to see heaps of people I know from over the years, and obviously the rest of our tour. But for Necro, we've got I don't think we can drop the time yet, but we've sort of got an early evening slot, which means we can have a great set, and then I can then get off stage and get really drunk afterwards with everyone else in the audience. So I'm looking forward to doing that. So thanks, Keno, for not putting us on too late.
Score. Any last words from you, Michael?
No, looking forward to seeing everyone at Necro. There's going to be yeah, lots of blasts from the past, but also I guess all the new crop, the youngins that are coming through that are getting into the heavy metal stuff. You know, always when we were playing, I always used to spend a lot of time going out into the crowd and just trying to meet as many of the fans as possible. And so I plan on doing that again. So hopefully meet a bunch of new people up there. And yeah, I'm sure I'll have a beer or two with Simon and hopefully you too, Lane.